Hey everybody, Pathetic Girl 43 here, coming to you live with Philadelphia's next top model.
Hota Barbarian.
That's what it's like to be so handsome.
Well, I like to think I've been this handsome since birth, possibly even earlier.
Yeah, Hota. You can go fuck yourself because there's a new daddy in town. And it's no other than the most base skill in the entire game. Upheaval. If you don't play this build, then you're by default a beta, so click off this video on your own risk. I mean, come on. It literally rips open a hole in the ground and throws it at enemies. That's based as fuck. If you want more reasons to play this insane build, then let me tell you how goddamn busted it is. The amount of overpowers this build generates is absolutely disgusting. No other build comes even close. It has not one, not two, but 4 easy ways to obtain overpowers. And by combining the build with Charge and Ring of the Ravenous, the overpowers just keeps on coming, and so will you when you start gaming this build. Oh, and I almost forgot, there's no uber unique requirements, and the build one-shots everything in the game. Pretty neat if you ask me. So how in the heck does it work then? Well, by combining the Sundered Ground aspect, Banished Lord's Talisman, Earthstriker aspect, and the Bonebreaker node, along with spending a shit ton of fury, we get constant overpowers. When combined with the high scaling from Upheaval, the build becomes an absolute beast. It's also a charge hybrid, stacking stats that makes our charge do tremendous amounts of damage. So you don't have to choose which ability to use, you just press stuff. Awesome, huh? Yeah. Let's take a look at the gear and aspects now, so you can play this based build as well. Let's start with the helmet. Here you're going to get Tuskhelm of Yoritz if you don't have the Shako. If you do, however, then grab Shako. It doesn't make a huge difference in this build, since Tuskhelm of Yoritz is goddamn busted. Now for chest, you're going to want the same as me here, and make sure to grab Juggernaut aspect to get capped out on armor. For gloves, you want these with one minor difference? Do you see it? Heck yeah, brother. I don't want none of that all stats. Give me some juicy strength or overpower for damage instead. As aspect, however, this one is what you want. Sundered Ground aspect. It gives us an overpower once every 25 seconds, but if we hit elites or bosses, the cooldown is reduced by 4 seconds, which basically means that we get it all the goddamn time. For pants, you need to get Tibolt's Will, so kill the fat guy aka Duriel and grab them, because they're mandatory to gain enough fury. Boots are pretty boring in this game, so this is where you'll get all of your resistances. Also, grab movement speed, of course, and smack on a Ghost Walker's aspect for insane speed. When it comes to the weapons, there are a few stats that we are looking to prioritize. These are all stats, strength, overpower, and damage while berserking. These stats are best in slot. If you find items with damage to close enemies or core skills, then that is fine as well. I'll allow it. For your Big Daddy Hammer, you're going to want to imprint the Earthstriker aspect. By swapping items 8 times, you get not only a free overpower, but it also does double damage. You also want your Upheaval to be using the hammer for maximum damage from the skill tree, and also since it has the highest base damage. For the one-handers, you're going to be using maces and imprint the Conceited aspect as well as aspect of Ancestral Charge. The Conceited aspect grants us a ton of damage while we have barriers, which we get from our Iron Skin ability. Ancestral Charge is used so that the charge ability doesn't become absolute dogshit. You also get a bunch of friends helping you out, which is neat. It's also important that you set your charge to use your dual-wide weapons. I got a few questions on how you do this, and it's simple as heck. First, bring up the skill menu, which with keyboard is key bound to S. If you use a controller, then you should just buy a PC. Then you just cycle weapon and get the correct one. Alright, so back to the gear. As two-hander, you should use Granddaddy if you have it. Otherwise, you grab a two-handed sword and imprint the Limitless Rage aspect. For Amulet, you need to grab the Banished Lord's Talisman. We are going to spend a shit ton of fury with this build, and this amulet grants us constant overpowers doing that as well as damage. For rings, we first have the Ravenous Ring. Whenever we charge, this ring gives us 2 charges for our Earth Striker's aspect. This is the reason we set charge to use Dual Wild, because every time we charge this ring automatically makes a weapon swap to our slashing weapon. And for the other ring, we use Ring of Red Fura. Our upheaval costs 80 fury, so every third upheaval will be a crit and do 30% more damage using this. Great job, friends. Now we're going to take a look at our pet friend to see what he's carrying. If you've seen my latest Hota build, then these are the same. We have Tempest, since it's fast as heck as well as swift support to make it even hecking faster. This is because we are using Resource Support, a stone that grants us a shit ton of fury. When we have this setup, we don't have to worry about fury anymore, which is nice. I'm also rocking Safeguard here for some extra defensives. On the right side, we have Flash of Adrenaline, as well as Duration and Tactical Support to keep the 20% damage bonus permanent. I'm also using Evernight here. I would much rather have Evernight on the other side, however, and use Genesis here, but I guess that I need to grind out a few hundred more Malphas first. Fuck me, am I right? Yeah. While we're at it, let's take a look at the weapon expertise as well. Here I'm using the 2-handed axe expertise for the big daddy damage. All right then, you know what time it is now. It's time to get zizzed up, boys and girls. Hell yeah, bras. Time to get to know my big muscle brain skill tree. So Ziz, what do we think about the basic skills?
What the fuck, bro? What the fuck is with this fucking Ziz cunt, bro?
Yeah, screw that. What about upheaval then? Yeah. And the defensive skills?
Go out, get bitches, but be a fucking sick cunt like Ziz, bro. That's what we fucking do, cunt.
You're not really helping, brah. I'm taking over. I'm grabbing imposing defense here to jacked up with max life. If you're a cuck, then you can also grab martial vigor. We definitely want rallying cry as well, and it's important to grab strategic rallying cry since it's our only real source of fortify in this build. We then grab iron skin along with enhanced iron skin so that the skill isn't useless, and finish with tactical iron skin for some healing. After that, we head on over to the brawling skills and grab War Cry for Big Daddy damage and charge for even more Big Daddy damage. Power Charge is what keeps resetting our charge. The downside is that you actually need to hit your charge, so you better get good dummy. Grab these as well. Battle Fervor is especially important as it is our main source of berserking. We then grab these passives for more damage and defensiveness, and also grab these for the same reason. Invigorating Fury is used for a ton of self-heal, so grab that. Then pick up Wrath of the Berserker for mad DPS, and finish by grabbing Unbridled Rage. By using this key passive, we spend a lot of Fury. And we want to spend a lot of Fury because more Fury spent means more overpower. Nice one, folks. If you've made it this far, make sure to drop a sub. Or what do you say, Arnie?
Oh my god!
Okay, now it's time for my amazing Paragon Board. So hold your hats, because you're in for a ride. In the starting board, we have the Exploit Glyph. As per usual, it grants us Vulnerability, which is pretty damn useful if you didn't know this by now. We then go to the Bonebreaker board, grab the Legendary Node, and pick up the Martial Glyph. After that, we go to the Carnage board to pick up the Legendary Node there, and socket the Crusher Glyph for the multiplicative damage. I'm also using Cold Resistance here. Feel free to drop it if you've got it elsewhere. After that, we go to the Blood Rage board and pick up the Legendary Node so that our damage while berserking becomes multiplicative. We also socket Ire for this reason. After that, we go to the Warbringer board simply to pick up these maximum Fury nodes and Fury on kill. This helps us a lot with keeping Fury up. Trust me, I've tested without it, and it feels atrocious. Lastly, we go all the way over here to the Decimator board, pick the legendary node, and socket the dominant glyph for its high damage scaling. Well, will you look at that? We're almost done with this amazing build guide now. There's but one thing left, to get good and learn how to actually play the build. It has two parts, Tier 100 and bosses, so let's take a look at them one by one. In Tier 100s, I'm usually spamming charge until I find an elite pack or whenever I get bored. When this happens, I blow them up using upheaval. Pretty easy, huh? Yeah. You also have Wrath of the Berserker for extra damage. Iron Skin should be used every time you engage, and your shouts can be used whenever you feel like it to reduce the cooldown of your other skills. Now let's see the one-shot wombo combo. Here you're going to want to stack up 8 charges of Earth Striker by swapping weapons somewhere. When you've done this, you can swap out your charge for Whirlwind. You then go into the fight, pop Berserker, and start spinning. Each 50 Fury we spend while using Wrath of the Berserker increases our damage, and this stacks 3 times. You can hear it as explosions. When the Berserker has exploded 3 times, you press all of your buttons and then finish off with exploding all over the boss with your upheaval. Well, that's all for this guide. Let me know if there are any other builds you want to see covered. Until next time, stay shredded kings and queens.